Drawing Breath is a series of interviews with humans telling interesting stories. If you'd like to support this channel, please interact with the social media platform that you're using. And now, Michael Lagocki tells a hilarious story of hiring Simon Bisley to do 3 pages of original artwork.
He's one of my top 10 favorite artists of all time in comics. He's one of my top 10 favorite, comics cartoonists of all time. And it started when we were both working at Kaboom and that Lobo miniseries came out. That, Keith Giffen, Alan Grant, Simon Bisley.
Love it.
That was the, and it was really right from when they sent us that promotional thing. They sent us like a promotional, 2-page thing.
Oh.
And it just introduced the characters and the artwork and everything like that. And Bob was flipping out about it, but then I really liked it. I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait for this book to come out. And the Biz became one of my favorites. And one of the things is his drawing style is so unique, and his anatomy style in particular. He looks both like he knows like a ton about anatomy, but he exaggerates it like no one else. So, he was just, and I don't naturally draw at all like the Biz. So I'm just kind of sketching something that, is got crazy lines and is messy, but I don't think it's going to be real reflective of him because to do it, you have to really know anatomy better than I do. He's excellent at depicting musculature. He's a big dude. So and I think he hung around with bodybuilders at one point or something like that.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I just heard that.
That sounds familiar though when you say that.
So the real part of the story that's interesting, that's how I got excited about his work. And then I always just stayed excited about his work because there's, just incredible. His painting was off the charts. I loved his line work. That's where I fell in love, like Lobo. But his paintings, like the Lobo covers or like that Judge Dredd Batman book, his paintings just off the freaking charts. His ability to get realism and blend colors and everything like that. Now, the reason why we're capturing the story, though, isn't just because he's someone I like. It's because he's someone I got to meet and work with. So Biz does cons all over the world, and he does cons in Dallas fairly often, and or at least every couple of years. And so I met him at a Dallas con, and in particular, what was cool was I recognized a moment because it was a Dallas con that was particularly not well attended. So this was one that was like a New Year's Eve one that involved Stan Lee, if I remember correctly. I think it was the New Year's Eve one. Biz was there.
When do you think this is?
10 years ago, I guess, something like that.
Okay.
I'm not sure of the year. Anyway, I recognized a cool moment was that at this time I was doing fairly well, and I really had the dream of making comics. And one of the things I realized, because I was making some money in my art career, one of the things I realized was, oh, maybe I can just pay dope artists. And I knew what kind of comic page rates were because I follow the industry, and comic page rates aren't that impressive. So anyway, Biz is sitting alone. Nobody's coming up to the table. I recognize that means that this dude flew all the way from Europe for a weekend that's not working and he's not making money.
Oh, yeah.
So to me, that was an opportunity. And the opportunity that I took was I went up to him and I pitched him, would he be interested in taking an independent assignment? And I pitched him a number that I knew, and only 3 pages, I couldn't afford to do a whole book, right? But I said, I got a short story I would love you to do, 3 pages, and I pitched him a number right before he asked anything. I pitched him a number that I knew was higher than a Marvel or DC page rate. Wasn't extraordinarily higher, but it was higher than a Marvel and DC page rate.
How many pages were talking about?
3.
3.
So, and my thinking was he's going to be pissed off that he didn't make any money at this con. So to be able to make money right away like that, I thought
You saw an opportunity.
I saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
So now the funny thing is he he hits me. He asks me a question I wasn't prepared for. He goes, "Well, what's the story about?" And I'm making this shit up off the top of my head, right? So off the top of my head, I say it's a birth metaphor. And he goes, "What does that mean?" And I said, "It's about the place that people go between lives. Like when you die and you're not in your next life yet, it's about the place."
And you're
that
just making that up?
made that up off the top of my head.
Wow.
He was like, "I dig it." Right? He liked it. So he agreed. And, we started communicating. And to do the piece, I had to communicate a little bit. And I went home and wrote it. And to do the piece, we had to communicate a little bit back and forth. So I think we mostly did text, if I remember correctly. It could have been email. I'm not sure, but it feels like it was text. Um, and anyway, it took forever to get it off him. It took like 2 years before I saw anything at all. And we were keeping in touch and everything like that, but he just wasn't turning it around. And see, like this doesn't look like a biz drawing, but the line work, the scratchy line work, is not completely different than some of the ways he approaches things. So that's why I did the scratchy line work. So anyway, I wasn't getting the pages. I wasn't getting the pages. I wasn't getting the pages. I see that he's coming to Dallas.
You've already paid him.
I've already paid him at this point. And I stupidly, he only asked for half up front. And then when I saw what it cost to transfer money to England, I was like, well, I'm not going to do this twice. That's very expensive. So I just sent it all up front at once like a dumbass. Sent it all up front once like a dumbass. And as a result, did not get anything from him for years. Maybe an email here and there. That was it. But finally got it. And I wasn't too mad because I wasn't like really ready to publish it anyway and everything like that. And finally got it because he's coming to he comes back to Dallas for a con. Now this is like 2 years later, and I ask him to bring what he's got. So he agrees. So when I see him in Dallas, what he does is he shows me these pages that are just penciled, right? And we were doing full art was what we had agreed on. But he said, they're not inked yet. I wanted to show them to you. I'll take them back and ink them. They'll be awesome.
He's not trying to get out of it.
Absolutely not.
Not leaving, even though it's been 2 years.
He's not leaving me hanging. And
He could have avoided you completely.
he did not do that at all. Not only that, the pages were freaking awesome. The pages are great. Like he cared about it. He gave a shit. They're good looking, but they're just penciled.
Okay. Based on this idea you threw
out of nowhere. First metaphor. Oh my God.
Okay.
So he shows me the pages. Okay. Now I'm thinking about this all afternoon, and we agree I'm going to stay at the end of the show. He's going to, go to the bar, have a few drinks, and we'll talk. And okay. Now, in the hours between them, so I know the pages are there. I've seen them. They're penciled, and his pencils are like, he'll like rub his finger in the pencils to get tones and like put some tones down on the page. And I very intentionally, I wanted it to be a meaningful story. So like it's very, very spiritual, which a lot of people always pitch biz just like violence and big boobs and stuff like that. And I was very intentional to go the other way. I pitched him a very spiritual story, and the only female in it, I said she is a small chested female, like that kind of thing. Because I wanted it to go. I love his art as a high artist. It's not just for me, Lobo and that kind of stuff. I think he's brilliant. So anyway, I pitched him this very spiritual story, and I loved his pencils. So I thought they were incredible. But the few hours that I'm walking around before the end of the show, and I know I'm going to see him again, I'm like, if he takes these pages back to England, I will never see them again. There is no chance in hell, if I let these pages leave, I'll ever see him again. So I enact the plan, and I say to him, and when we get to the bar, we get to the bar, and he's ordering drinks, and Biz can drink, and there were a couple other people there, like there was like a important talent agent there, another artist I wasn't too familiar with, and then Mike Royer was there, Kirby's old inker. So Mike Royer and us, and we're all drinking at the table. Now, so I pitched to Biz this idea. And the way I pitch it is to make it sound simple for him and like I'm going to save him a lot of work. I'm like, you're going to spend hours inking these. You know what? It's done. I want them. But I'll tell you what, since I paid you full price for them, let's do it. I'll take them, just the pencils, but you give me the pages. So I was like, you don't have to ink them. You don't have to take them back. You don't have to ship them, but give me the actual art and I'll own it. And I'll own the 3 pages. And I think he thought about it. And like, normally I'm sure Biz wouldn't let his artwork go, but it wasn't Batman, right? It's not something that he could easily sell or anything like that. And he knew he had left me hanging for 2 years, and he knew he wouldn't have to do further work on them, that it was done. There's one problem. There's one big panel that wasn't done yet. It was just like, you could tell where he wanted the female. Simple panel. She's standing on tree limbs, and you could tell where he wanted the body of the female and stuff like that, but it wasn't drawn. Like everything else was drawn. This was more like thumbnail. And so I'm like, the only thing I need, we're going to be here drinking anyway. I need you to finish this one panel. I just need you to finish this one panel.
He's several beers in, and you're
Absolutely.
talking him into this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's great.
Okay. So he thinks about it and he finally decides, yes, but he goes, but I need a pencil. Right? It's way after the con at this point. It's 8:30, 9 o'clock, all that kind of stuff. We're in the hotel bar. And now I'm running around the hotel looking for a pencil. And no one has pencils anymore.
All those comic guys, and nobody's got a pencil.
And the comic guys aren't around anymore, right? Like the comic guys have mostly gone home or gone to their beds or whatever. I think it was the last night of the con, all that stuff. So like, no, the bartender has 7 million pens. The waitresses have pens. The front desk has pens. Nobody has a pencil. I have to go around this whole place. I forget where I finally found it. I think I asked like a cleaning lady, to be honest. And like, she had one in her pocket because I was desperate. I'm like, I'm going to get this pencil. So I finally got a freaking pencil and I took it back down, and to his credit, Biz works on it. Biz is great. It's beautiful to watch him draw. He nails the girl really quick. Like I said, it was an easy panel. It wasn't like there were buildings he had to measure. It was tree limbs and this girl's form. And so he did it. And the one other thing I have to say about the story, and he's getting toastier and toastier through all this. So, and he's getting kind of belligerent and loud and stuff like that, but it was fun. Everybody was putting up with it. He's a very, he's a very likable dude, and he's like a very fun dude, big and boisterous. And I just like him. And so anyway, the one other thing that happened that's worth telling is him and Mike Royer start talking about comic art, and Biz is obviously showing a lot of respect to him. And Mike Royer talks something about line work and then goes, let me show you, and grabs the pencil and starts drawing on the page. And I'm like, oh my God.
Okay, you're saying at this point, Royer is drawing on your artwork.
On my Bisley artwork. Okay. And I understand it's Mike Royer. That's dope too. But I did not want that. Right. I'm like, I want the Bisley work. The good thing is though, finally, first of all, Mike did great lines that worked with what Biz did. So, and it didn't matter. And he didn't do that much of it. Like, and then when they wanted to keep going, I made them flip it over and they drew on the back. So I have my Bisley originals. If you flip them over, there's an anatomy lesson between Mike Royer and Simon Bisley.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's it. And I'm still sitting on those Bisley pages. And for that story, I actually hired another artist too to do 4 pages, and I got those in and paid for them, but I haven't done all the in-between stuff yet. So he's a phenomenal artist. He's definitely, like I said, he's in my top 10, and to get to work with him was a dream. And I've seen him since. I've run into him a couple times at cons. I saw him in Lake Como.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I text him every once in a while. So we're cool. Yeah, but we're not real close, but he would certainly know who I was if we bumped into him now, and I could text him, and he's been responsive to me when I've texted him in the past. He's cool.
Looks like he did a bunch of Hellblazers.
Dude, his Hellblazers are fantastic. He did Hellblazer at the very end of the first series when Peter Milligan was writing it, and Simon drew some interiors. He did a lot of covers, but he also drew some interiors. There's a very memorable issue where the spirit of Sid Vicious is involved, and Biz did the art. And it's such a that was such a great book. For people who've read Hellblazer but haven't read the end, the Peter Milligan run, should definitely read it. It was a great ending.
Sheltered from the moonlight underneath her holy wing.
Drawing Breath is a series of interviews with humans telling interesting stories.
Now what's this feeling that I have?
If you'd like to support this channel, please interact with the social media platform that you're using.
To you like it's the essence of my being. What's this feeling that I have? Songs of faith and meaning.